Quality men are done with delusional modern women as they realize MGTOW is better.
Where are all the good men? All the good men were ruined by plenty of women. They had money taken from them. They had their finances fucking crumble because of some women. They had their children taken away from them. They lost jobs. They tried to give and give and give all the fucking time. And all these women did was belittle them, disrespect them, mental abuse, physical abuse. There is so much abuse involved now that the good men are fucking done. They're not gonna sit there and listen to the BS no more. They're not gonna sit there and keep being disrespected. A man wants one thing in a relationship more than he ever wants love, and that's respect. And if you can't provide him with that, move the fuck over.
It's refreshing to hear a woman finally admit that good men didn't vanish. They were just harvested until they had nothing left to give. She's right that walking away isn't quitting. It's a tactical retreat from a system where the reward for sacrifice is financial ruin and losing your kids. Respect's the only currency that matters, and if she can't afford that, she needs to get out of the way.
Okay, ladies, I hate to say it, but I have to say it because I am sick of this and I'm speaking to myself. Why do we never give the nice guy the chance? Like, why do we look at the nice guy like the ones who's just annoying and just thirsty and they're always available and not attractive to us? And meanwhile, we're complaining that we're getting dogged out, that we're dealing with manipulative, narcissistic men who can't treat a woman right. Not even men, little boys who don't know how to treat a woman right, who just fumble us all the time. Like, we complain that we get treated like that, but 9 times out of 10, we overlooked the nice guy to deal with this man, boy. Like, I don't get it. Why do we do that? In 2024, can we stop doing that? I'm speaking to myself too, because I hate that I do this too. Like, can we give the nice guys a chance? Let's give the nice guys a chance. I want the nice guy. I want the guy that's texting me, "Good morning, beautiful. I hope you have an amazing day today because you're such a blessing and I'm grateful to know you." Like, I want that guy. I don't want the guy that's texting me, "Hey, what's up?" Can we stop doing that? This is not it.
Calling a consistent man thirsty just for showing interest proves she's addicted to the anxiety of the chase and finds actual stability repulsive. She claims she wants the good morning text, but the second she gets that validation for free, she'll treat it like spam and crawl back to the guy who ignores her. Deep down, she knows she can't respect a man she doesn't have to suffer for.
Why aren't men getting married anymore? It's not because they hate love or they're against love. It's because the system is actually stacked against them. In 1960, 72% of adults were married, and today it's barely 50%. And among men under 30, it's pretty much nowhere. Here's why. Divorce courts, they'll take all of the man's money, they'll take the kids, they'll take the house. 90% of child custody goes to women, and men pay millions in child support and alimony every year. Then there's the happy wife, happy life culture where men sacrifice everything to keep the peace. Meanwhile, if a man wants traditional roles, it's labeled as toxic. So men naturally ask themselves, what is the upside? And for a lot of guys, there isn't one. It's not that men in general hate commitment. They hate commitment to a system that is designed to punish them for existing. Till marriage becomes a partnership and not a legal liability, men will continue to keep saying, no thanks.
Marriage has morphed into a legal liability where a man signs a contract that financially rewards the other party for breaking it. It's basically a hostage situation where he ends up paying for his own execution. Men aren't dodging love. They're dodging the courtroom guillotine.
All right, so everybody keeps telling me there's all these wonderful men out there that'll take you on dates and buy you flowers and do sweet things for you. And everywhere I look, there's all these men on TikTok that are talking about how they would love that kind of opportunity with a woman and all of these things. And I don't seem to understand why I can't find them. Can someone point me in the right direction, please? Thank you.
The men she's looking for are likely rotting in her friend zone right now, listening to her complain about how there are no good men left. She walks past them every single day but treats them like invisible NPCs because they don't look dangerous enough to excite her. Her internal radar simply refuses to register anyone who doesn't promise a future heartbreak.
Oh my God, there are just like no good guys out there. Everybody's terrible. Dating apps are the worst. Like every guy I meet is such an asshole. Like I just don't understand. Like I'm gonna be single forever because it's just so hard out there. Want no secret? Where all the nice guys are? Look around. They're everywhere. Okay. They're the ones that you put in the friend zone. They're the ones on your dating app inbox that you've just ignored. They're the ones that have been repeatedly asking you out, but that you won't go out with because they don't make your stomach flip. Like that asshole traumatic guy that's unavailable, that's been stringing you along forever and that you can't let go of. So where's the real ownership that we have? It comes down to working on ourselves, getting over that toxic behavior so that we can see somebody for who they really are. Understanding that social media and the movies and everything has lied to you about what they believe a true relationship should look like. It's not as exciting as you think, but it can be secure and stable and wonderful. And there are amazing guys out there that would be a husband and a father and a friend to you. And you need to do the work so that you can wake up and actually see them.
It's rare to hear someone finally admit that good men aren't missing. They're just invisible because they don't trigger her trauma response. She's right that most women mistake anxiety for chemistry and treat actual stability like it's a terminal disease. The friend zone isn't a waiting room. It's a mass grave of husband material she buried simply because they didn't treat her poorly enough to keep her interested.
I've officially decided that this new year, I am not going to date at all whatsoever. And I'm kind of forcing myself to say this on here and leave this video on here because it's just what I need to do. So I'll be turning 29 in February. And, my 20s, I had a blast and I made lots of mistakes and, I lived my life. And so I just feel like a perfect way to close out my 20s would be to be in complete devotion to myself and my relationship with God. And so that includes removing any type of dating. And I want to laugh because, like I said, it's very hard. I know that this is going to be very challenging for me. Just because I'm a lover girl and I love to love. God forbid a girl have a big heart. But I know that it's what I need to do. And I know that nothing but good can come from that because there's just so many things that I want to work on when it comes to like my life and my finances and even like my health and my level of discipline. And I want to be able to work on these things before my husband finds me. If God has a husband, I don't know. He might not. If he doesn't, cool. If he does, perfect. But yeah, there's just things that I want to work on. And unfortunately, with my little obsessive ADD brain, like I just can't date and do that at the same time. I think I'll have to learn how to eventually because I can't be so extreme, but I just think I need to make a sacrifice, and that sacrifice looks like a year of absolutely no dating. And it's so funny because I was thinking about this like a couple of days ago and I was like, okay, that's my decision. That's what I'm doing. Next day, the amount of tests that arise, like even out in public, I'm like, God, did you not hear me say that I don't want to date? And now you're just gonna have these people be like, hey, what's your name and what's your phone number? Um, but yeah, we're not dating 2026, y'all. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. This is like giving up a drug, if I'm being completely honest. But I'm gonna be fine. Like, I'm not gonna die. And I know that doing this really, really, really will bring out like just a great version of myself. And I love who I am today and I'm very, very, very proud of myself. But I know in order to step into that level of myself, like I have to make this sacrifice. So if you're a man, you got like 2 weeks to get to me. I'm just kidding. Don't even, because I feel like I'm already checked out. Um, but yeah, I'm excited. Who's on board, ladies?
Spending a decade having a blast and accumulating mistakes only to offer God the leftovers at 29 is the spiritual equivalent of trying to sell a totaled car as vintage. She admits she's addicted to the dopamine hit of male attention, hoping a 12-month detox will somehow scrub the mileage off the odometer before she hits the wall. That final panic joke about men having 2 weeks to claim her reveals her true fear. The shop is closing for good.
Hello, good people. Here is a list of men that I will no longer be talking to in the year 2026. If you are a man and you fall on this list, then I'm sorry to tell you, but you're a loser. This is not going to be in no particular order. I'm just going to name them out. One man I won't be talking to in 2026 anymore is a YN, or a young man, a young guy. Because if you're going to date a young man, you're pretty much dating a child, because that's where their mindset is at. Next, if you are a man that's past the age 35 and you don't have a car, then please leave me alone, because what are you doing with your life? You are too old to not have transportation by now. That is really sad, and your priorities clearly is jacked up. Next, a mama's boy. I will not be talking to a mama's boy in 2026, because these are the type of men that will literally compare every little thing you do to their mother. It makes you actually feel like they want to date their mother. It's very creepy. It's very weird. It's very leave me alone. Next, I will not talk to a closeted BBW lover. As you can see, I'm juicy and thick. So if you don't want to show me to anyone, then you can leave me the hell alone. Because these men will try their best to do you know what with you and then act like you don't even exist to their friends and family. So you got me messed up if you like big women but don't want to be seen with them in public. Next, the broke man. Need I say more? If you're broke, please leave me alone, because those are the type of men that will literally hate you for doing well in life because they're not financially where they want to be in life, and they will make your life a miserable living hell. Next, if you are a man that can't hold down a good conversation, then please leave me alone. I like to speak about deep subjects, not just surface level things. So if you're the type of man that is with that, what you doing, what you doing, what you doing all damn day, I don't have time for that. Please leave me alone. Thank you. Next. Now, I lied about that list thing because this one definitely tops the cake and is number one. So, at number one on my list, if you are a man that has dreadlocks, goals in your mouth, and or tattoos, please leave me alone. Because, ladies, listen to me. I guarantee that man will come destroy your life. That man is the devil himself. So, don't let that man in your life. Trust me, those ones with the locks are no good. Just keep it moving. At the end of the day, you got to keep it moving. Whew. Well, I think I touched on all the men that I won't be talking to in 2026. So if you one of those men, hey, sorry to let you down, but you're not the one for me. So you're going to have to go find somebody else. Anyway, let me know in the comment section if any of these men are on your list as well. Y'all have a nice day and stay blessed out here. Watch your back, because they crazy.
She demands a man with assets and ambition, yet her only contribution is being juicy and thick, which is just a polite way of saying she lacks the discipline to match the high standards she sets for others. Her anger at being a secret proves that high-value men view her as a temporary indulgence, not a public partner worth damaging their reputation for. She's not a prize being hidden. She's a slump buster they hope their friends never find out about.
Here's the thing, men genuinely don't think that women will be happy alone because they are not happy alone. Has anybody ever seen the statistics about how women who are single live longer than men who are single? And that's primarily because women are responsible for the majority of the emotional, mental, and sometimes physical labor in a relationship or a family dynamic. I've been having this ongoing conversation with one of my guy friends, and he knows that he is actively settling for the girl that he's dating. He said to me the other day, yeah, there's going to come a time when you're going to have to settle. And I said, settle for what? I don't need a man. Like, of course I want to have a relationship and a family and all those things, but at what cost? Like, we've all watched our mothers and our grandmothers slave away in these relationships for a man that doesn't really care about them, or maybe was even settling. I would rather be alone. But men truly believe that women are unhappy if they're single because they refuse to acknowledge the fact that they are a main reason why we are miserable. Why we're miserable in relationships. Why do you think women are the ones who leave marriages? Because we're chronically unhappy with men who don't value us, who take us for granted. and who will admittedly and actively settle for us. No, thank you.
Viewing the women who built her family line as slaves exposes a level of ingratitude that explains exactly why she's alone. She claims men are the sole cause of female misery, conveniently ignoring that her own toxic inability to compromise makes her impossible to endure. She isn't choosing solitude, she's just loudly quitting a game she was already losing.
The fun thing about being a feminine woman is that we get to have this fun play of words and we get to use these sort of manipulation tactics, but not a bad or negative manipulation, but a positive manipulation. So, what does that look like? Well, as I always say on here, you don't want to go to men with solutions. You want to present them with problems instead because they are Mr. Fix It by nature.
Positive manipulation is just a toxic rebranding of weaponized incompetence designed to turn a relationship into unpaid daycare. She thinks feigning helplessness makes her charming, but a high-value man eventually realizes he's adopted a dependent child, not a partner.
All right. This is for my 87% male viewers. I have seen so much about men complaining about how high of standards women have. And I saw a TikTok today that really perfectly captures it. I reposted it, so go check it out. But this guy was basically saying that women no longer need financial security for men, so they're seeking things like personality. They're seeking things like emotional maturity, like how you show affection, like how you handle conflict. And back in the good old days that everyone likes to romanticize, when women couldn't have bank accounts, so they literally had to rely on a marriage in order to survive, women weren't afforded the choice of being able to choose someone based off their personality or character. So if they were stuck in a shitty marriage, they had to stay in it in order to survive. All of this is to say is that women no longer are just looking for how much money you're making. And I feel like that's what people get caught up on. Oh, well, I make this amount and I make 6 figures and I can be financially secure and blah, blah, blah. Me too, babe. I've been doing it since I was 16. And guess what? I've gotten to pay my own bills, pay off debt, start a savings, and I've gotten to travel the world on my dime. And so the reason I have high standards for my dating life is because I know what I can provide for myself. And I know I can provide myself a very happy life. What I look for when I'm dating someone, right, is emotional maturity. I'm looking for someone that handles issues well, that doesn't explode with anger at any minor inconvenience. I look for someone with the capacity to have intelligent conversations with, to debate things with, to have differing opinions with, and either come to a compromise or agree to disagree. And so my question to you that are wondering the same thing of why do women have such high standards is, what do you bring to the table other than money?
Asking, "What do you bring besides money?" is a manipulation tactic designed to devalue a man's provision while keeping the price of admission sky high. She claims to want emotional maturity, yet she'll instantly disqualify the broke man who possesses it because her hypergamy remains the real gatekeeper. It's arrogant to think paying her own bills makes her a prize when, to a man, that's just the basic prerequisite for adulthood.
It always makes me laugh whenever guys are like, let me guess, what are you looking for? 6'2", millionaire, six pack, and never cheats on you? Like, why are you so triggered by it? I think men that have a problem with women having standards for guys are lazy men. Like, I get it. There is way, way more things beyond that. I mean, that's not even on my list of things that are important in finding a partner. But why wouldn't somebody want somebody that takes care of themselves? Somebody that is ambitious and successful? Like, why not? It doesn't mean that that's the most important thing. I think that finding somebody that has the desire and ability to grow is important. Like, I love the idea of finding somebody that's like already hustling and trying to make things happen, and then you guys accomplish it together. The men out there that have a problem with women having high standards are just lazy and don't want to put in the work. They just want to be overweight. So yeah, I also agree. If you're going to have high standards, then be those high standards too. If you want a man that's going to be successful, is going to be fit, is going to be loyal, is going to be this and that, you be a superstar too. You be that person that you want. But don't be a man making fun of women because they have high standards. Just because you're not going to fit those standards does not mean that you have to go and make fun of them for wanting a good partner.
Calling men lazy for not winning the genetic lottery of being 6 feet 2 inches proves she views men as custom-ordered accessories rather than human beings. Men aren't triggered by her shopping list. They're simply laughing at a customer with zero credit trying to negotiate for a Ferrari. She demands a finished product to validate her ego, while bringing nothing to the table but demands and debt.
There's a lot of people who are stuck in the 50s when families looked like mom, dad, and kids, and the dads worked and the women took care of the house and the kids, and that was the prescriptive norm. I mean, it was never always that way. There were plenty of families where two parents worked. Happened all the time. Generally not what you saw on TV, but it was very real in the lower working class and in families living in poverty. But that's we think of the nuclear family. That's what we think. So today we know 55% or more of households with two parents have both parents working. So that means the majority of homes that are heterosexual, mom and a dad, have both parents working and earning money toward the family income. But there is, and I don't want us to ignore this, there is a cultural breadwinner burden that falls on men. And that is not to say, oh, poor men. It's to be realistic. And that breadwinner burden hurts men and women. Okay? It's bad for everybody. Basically, this is what it says. Breadwinner burden is if everything goes wrong, the man will always work. If everything goes right, the man will still always work. If the family doesn't have enough money, culturally, that's the man's fault. So I'm not saying every family that is heterosexual, feels this burden, but that is the expectation. If the woman says, I'm going to stay home with my kids, people applaud that. Even if there's not a whole lot of money in the family, then they look at the man and they say, why can't you earn more? That's breadwinner burden. Now, that breadwinner burden is not an excuse for men to say, like, you ladies don't understand what it's like to have financial pressure. Yeah, we do, because a huge majority of us are single head of household parents. A huge majority of us know exactly what that's like, right? There's also a lot of families where the wives have to earn more than their husbands so that their family can stay afloat. There's a big diversity out there. But the cultural expectation and the shame placed upon men who can't earn enough shows that here in capitalism, a man's value is what he can provide to his family. Are women putting that on men? Sometimes, but it's mostly men putting that on other men. And that's the nuance that we don't want to miss, because all in all, it harms everybody. It keeps men not doing housework, even when their wives are earning more money than them, even when their wives are working full-time job. It also is part of the reason why we have such a skyrocketing high rate of suicide among men. So something worth considering.
Blaming capitalism or other men for the breadwinner burden is pure gaslighting when women ruthlessly filter out any guy who can't subsidize their lifestyle. She admits the system crushes men, but conveniently ignores that she's the one enforcing the rules by treating a man's wallet as his only vital organ. It's not men shaming men. It's the brutal reality that a man without resources is treated like he doesn't exist. That's it for this video, guys. Help us grow by subscribing to the channel. Drop your thoughts down below and don't forget to leave a like as well. See you next time.